Hi, this is Weekly Reflections, and I'm Nancy Joy. Well, we're almost through the 5 planets retrograde. I think I called today's reflections, Let's Talk Planets. Yikes, because there is a lot going on, and I'm sure I'm checking in to see if you're feeling what I'm feeling. This is bizarro world in some ways. Anyway, so this is sort of a check-in and let you know what's going on. So May 9th will be the end of the 5 planets retrograde, although the remaining 4 will continue their dance in and out. Some of them will be dancing out, but all the way actually through September. So the fun continues. And then New Moon was the other day, May 6th, which of course always brings in a new energy. It was a super new moon too. Not quite sure exactly what that entails, but the word super might speak for itself, huh? And then on top of that, we have coming up the Jupiter-Saturn square at the end of May, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But I just want to, I am experiencing personally a tremendous amount of busyness, intensity, with some chaos thrown in. And it's on many fronts, but what it's really doing is pushing me within. And it's very obvious to me that the more intense my life gets, the more active my inner life gets. So here's the quote, and this is from Starman Astrology. Excellent report. Go lookitup.com, or I have the link to it here on my email for those who have signed up. Sign up to get my email, YouTubers. Just because there's more information there and links and things, I think would really be helpful. But anyway, he says, an unusual spat of mystically connected astrological cycles and influences have recently come together in related signs, accentuating and directing the energetic flow inward, inward, inward. And then he goes on to say, I consider these cycles to be 2016's most significant and intense. Well, I guess I have to agree with both intense and inward, inward, inward. So I awoke yesterday morning to a very smoky Iowa, and was filtering the sun somewhat. And when I went outside on my deck, it smelled like someone was having a great big campfire. It did not smell. A house burned down recently in back of us, horrendous, last month, and that smelled like a house burning. But this smelled more like a campfire. And I didn't realize until later when my ecological son came over and explained to me that that was the smoke from the huge fires going on in Canada that have left thousands and thousands. I've heard 80, but I think it's even more evacuated, and so many thousands have lost everything. And along came that smoke into Iowa. Fires of transformation, no doubt about that. Easy to say when you're not the one that had to leave your home, or the one that had to let go of everything material. Talk about then it's the only place to go is inward. So send your prayers, hold a space of love for all those people, and for that fire even that is transforming our planet, just like the recent earthquakes in Japan and the floods in Texas and elsewhere. The earth's talking, the earth's speaking, the earth is shaking and rattling. And thus comes the quandary. Here I am in the midst of all my own little floods and earthquakes and fears attached to materiality and stuff like that. And at the same time as that, Earthkeeper says this is undoubtedly a potent scenario, and many of you will feel like you're stuck in molasses, and I say, or smoke, and out of sync, not yourself. You may feel an overwhelming spin, and that really sums it up for me. Everything's spinning overwhelmingly, and yet it's very slow. I wouldn't use the word stuck. I don't feel necessarily stuck. Another thing that came to me somewhere is you feel like a road trip with the handbrake on. You're on a great road trip with the handbrake on. It's so exciting, but the handbrake's on, so you're moving at a slower pace. And going inward, because if you're not speeding along, that's where you go inward. And I'm not complaining, because inward's my favorite vacation spot and my divine sanctuary. So there's so much wonderful about that. But as I was thinking about Starman's quote about the spinning, I came to me, if you've ever been in a hurricane, you can associate with this. I have been in several, but one in particular in the Yucatan, back in 1995, Hurricane Roxanne. Standing in the eye of a hurricane, there is so much intensity. It's dead still, it's dead quiet, and eerie calm. And you're kind of looking at destruction all around you, because half the storm's already come through. And there's a pressure, an immense pressure, literally, pressing you inward. And it reminds me of that, because here you are in that inner quiet still space. For me, it's beautiful, and yet I'm aware that the storm is still raging, just outside my perception or my choice to focus on it, let's say. And it's the storm of change. It's very destructive, but in the destruction comes the rebirth. It's the cycle, right? I mean, we all understand that. The storm of change is on our planet, period, and that's that. Shift the page here. So the major astrological activity coming this month, at the end of the month, though, is the square of Jupiter and Saturn that happens on May 26th at 8:28 p.m. Eastern Time, so 7:28 in the Midwest, and so on. It's pretty huge, because what you've got, I always say the disclaimer, I'm not in astrology, but I sure feel the energy. You have the two biggest planets in our solar system squaring each other. When planets square each other, it's immense pressure again. It's the biggies saying, Jupiter is wisdom and knowledge and good fortune. At the same time, you've got Saturn saying, hold on a minute, buddy. You're going to learn this. We're going to push through this. Not so fast, let's say. And so you get this tremendous amount of pressure, like the plates in an earthquake, perhaps. And yet, it is so true that it is that pressure of conflict and shifting and moving that creates the spark, and the intensity that creates one of the most precious crystals on earth, right? The diamond. And we are changing our cellular structure into crystalline cellular structure. So it's not uncommon that we would feel this pressure, but every one of these things is shining the facets with which we will sparkle and create, and are already creating in the new earth and the golden age. So what I guess I'm saying to you is, are you feeling this? Wow, on the one hand, you want to squirm out of the pressure, and you do, and you go into your peaceful center where everything is still, and there is such magnificent love frequency. And what we're doing here is we are integrating the chaos, the intensity, the pressure with the love frequency, with the beauty we find inside ourselves until they become one. Both things are true. And we won't get into the duality and the opposites, because we've talked about that so much more. But you wonder how the new earth will be when we're integrating all this duality, polarity, and separation into something magnificent. And when you go within, you know what it'll be. So I'll meet you there within. I love that you're all holding hands with me on the edge as we go through this intensity. And let's hold a space of love for everyone right now on our edge, and catch the magic. We'll be talking more about Jupiter and Saturn, I'm sure. Hope you have a great week. Take care of who you are. And please do check out my website under retreats for the new one-day 5D emotional transformation retreats. Let's catch the magic and use the energy of these feelings to shine our diamonds. Okay, take care of who you are. Bye-bye.